situasi sebenar berhubung dengan dakwaan bahawa pihak Syabas tidak selenggarakan dengan baik rumah PAM di Taman Putra Budiman. Inilah yang menyebabkan masalah gangguan bekalan air di kawasan Balakong dalam 2-3 bulan ini. Tuduhan itu sebenarnya adalah tidak berasas dan mungkin juga disebabkan salah faham.
The current water war continues to be waged intensely between the Selangor state government on one side and the federal government with their water concessionaires on the other. And this battle is not about to end anytime soon, and the people of Selangor, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya will find themselves becoming collateral damage. Already some locations are experiencing difficulty at the taps. But what has caused this?
Prior to 1995, if you want, water in Selangor was managed by Jabatan Bekalan Air Selangor. So that was under the state government of Selangor. So where you have treatment plants and the distribution entirely under the state government. Now everybody knows that the profits are in the treatment plants and not so much in the distribution. Because when it comes to distribution, it involves repair of pipes, paying of workers, metering, non-revenue water, and so on and so forth. It's very costly. So what the government will do is that they will take the profits from the treatment plant and they will cross-subsidize the distribution. And despite that, the revenue for the state, Selangor state at that time, would be about 40 million, 50 million, and even 60 million. So in fact, if you look at it, it's very profitable for the state. Now, come 1990s and so on, you had this privatization push by the federal government, and inconsistent with that, the state government of Selangor under Muhammad Taib started to privatize water, among others. And interestingly, they privatized the profit-making part and not the loss-making part, though. And it was privatized initially to a company called Puncak Niaga. So today, Puncak Niaga is one of the biggest operators of treatment plants today. And then subsequently, the state government took responsibility for what you call PUAS. Now, PUAS was responsible for NRW, responsible for paying of workers, repairing of pipes or changing of pipes, metering, and such things. So it was very expensive, and they started to have a high level of debt. Now clearly this was the wrong design though, because privatization is supposed to bring the efficient players, supposed to raise the money necessary in order to save or to protect or, for example, to upgrade particular services and so on and so forth. Here, privatization means give money to people who already have money, or people who have connections and so on and so forth. Now, what has happened since then is, because of PUAS's very high debt, which they could not pay Puncak Niaga, because they had to carry this huge burden, the federal government at that time said, okay, it's time maybe that we form another company where the whole arrangement is holistically done. So therefore, they came up with Syabas. So Syabas today is owned 70% by Puncak Niaga and 30% by the state government of Selangor. But the treatment plants, which are the profitable parts, are still in the hands of Puncak. You also have Splash, and also you have Abbas. Okay, so this is the whole story though. So now you have a situation in 2004. The government decided, okay, we need to privatize PUAS and then we will call this company Syabas. Now, as part of the arrangement to hand over the management of water, distribution of water in Selangor, the federal government gave Syabas something like 1.06 billion ringgit, both in loans and grants and so on and so forth, in order to manage water. So then you have Syabas, okay? Now, at that time in 2006, the federal government came out with two important water laws. One is called the Water Services Industries Act 2006, and then the Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air Negara Act 2006. Now, SPAN is a regulator. SPAN regulates water not only for Selangor but throughout Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. Whereas the Water Services Industry Act actually regulates, stipulates the rules and regulations about how water should be managed and so on and so forth. But essentially what it means is all infrastructure, all water infrastructure will now be owned by PAB. So the state governments will sell dams and whatever other water infrastructure to PAB, and in future PAB will also take responsibility to build new treatment plants and so on and so forth. And therefore the revenue for the state will only come from raw water. Now let me go to the more detail about Selangor. In 2008, I'm not sure whether January, I think it's February 2008, the federal government wrote a letter consistent with Water Services Industries Act 2006, asking the Selangor government to take over the management of water in Selangor, Putrajaya and Kuala Lumpur. They wrote actually the letter. But subsequently, as you know, in March, Barisan Nasional lost, and now it was handed over to the Pakatan Rakyat government. Now, from the first meeting onwards, it has been a very difficult process. The state government has made a number of proposals. The federal government has counter-proposed, and I think there's been a number of meetings and so on and so forth, and therefore we have a mess in front of us right now. Okay, so I think end of the day, the question that we should look at is, you take a profitable government utility, and then you turn it into a mess right now, whereby it's a big fight between the operator, the utility operator, Shabas, Puncak Niaga, which is now holding the government and the people of Selangor somewhat in ransom by using the word crisis and talking about water rationing in Selangor. So clearly you see how through privatization, we have now allowed a private corporation to indirectly rule the state of Selangor.